tags. From champions to slow jamming. Oh, baby, we can even make you an overnight celebrity. Know what I'm saying? Come on. Play something these souls are like. Try whips, I know they like. Twister, you told her right. Make you a celebrity overnight. Give you ice like Kobe, right? We sorta like Goldie, right? The way we mold them, right? Make you a celebrity overnight. Girl, I see you in the number bottom t-shirt. Chiller on your back, I wanna know your name. Girl, I'm just like to roll your brains. Put you in the chameleon no range. Still sexy when you smoke that flame. Jerking like a chicken when you throw that thing. She got me hotter than the oven the way that she talk. Switching the freaky so I'm loving the way that she walk. You looking good, girl, you wanna be in pictures. Listen to me, I see your career going sky high. Taking you home to the crib in a shot. And every time I see your thighs, I cry when I drive by. Watching you should be a real. Got the fellas on some Johnny Gill steady screaming my. Walking the carpet with the brothers, they're flicking the dog. Kicking it on the couch at 106 and Paul. I can see your beauty on the big screen. I can see me freaking you with whipped cream. I can see you on stage at the awards with a dress better than Jennifer's and doing big things. Kick it with me, I can mold your line. You look good, girl, show you right. Dre told me you the prototype. I can make you a celebrity, yo, why not? Play something these souls are like. Try whips, I know they like.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are back to Big Man on Campus, and we are live Thursday, February 23rd, 2017. My name is the Big Man on Campus here, back with you live. Doesn't feel like February outside. 70 degrees. How about that, Ryan?
Yeah, it's.
If it feels like late April.
It's fantastic.
But
and it's gonna be like this tomorrow too.
Yeah. Well, let's get it over with. I'm sick of hearing about weather. We get it. I hate that shit. We get it's nice out. We don't need 8,000 posts about how nice it is out. I mean, seriously.
You brought it up though.
Yeah, because everyone's talking about it. I mean, get over it.
It makes them happy.
Okay. I know, but it's just, I don't get it. There's nothing to be happy about today around here. Nothing. We'll get into that later. Yeah, I mean, sorry, Scott. I mean, I wasn't around yesterday. We had the show yesterday. By the way, guys, I will say this. We probably will start to do, like, Wednesday we won't have a show. If I have, the show that we're doing on SBR during the day, we'll get to it. I don't know. We'll see. But with the content I'm doing on there, I mean, I'm not sure there's a need for two shows, really, in the same day. But, Ryan, we haven't heard from you in a while. How's everything going?
He's back.
Oh, yeah.
It's, everything.
People are wondering where you were.
Yeah,
they said even you don't like me anymore, and that's why you don't do the show.
Yeah, well, that's, I thought about it long and hard, and initially, I thought to myself, fuck Jeff. I'm not about the show anymore. No, I mean, the realistic, and Jeff talks about it all the time, Earth to everyone out there, we have lives. And i.e. last night, Jeff had plans. He wasn't able to do a show.
Yeah.
I had plans. Just life's been kind of hectic the last 5 days or so. Haven't been around. That's just the way it is. But we're back tonight, and here we go.
Listen, I think we've done plenty of shows. I mean, really. Yeah. I mean, we had I think we had a time where we went like months in a row where we did a show every day. It's like sometimes I do things other than this.
Exactly.
Like, last night I went to the game. Like I'm not going to have a show.
Yep.
I'm not going to do my show in my car. Sorry.
No.
I know some people do that. I'm not going to.
I don't blame you. And to be honest, sometimes it's nice to just get completely away from it.
Exactly.
And just go about your business, and then boom, you turn back the next day and you.
And again, it's not like I was totally off the grid yesterday. I did a show 12:30 Eastern,
right?
Which
there you go.
But again, appreciate everyone's positive feedback on that. We're really enjoying doing it. We got the other show tomorrow, Friday at 12:30. We're looking forward to it. Anything we can do to improve the show, always send that over. We are looking forward to it. We will add some things to it as well. Maybe we'll even see you at some point on the show, right?
Perhaps. Yeah.
At some point, we can Google Hangout people in pretty easily, right. So it's not too difficult. But welcome to everyone out there listening. As always. We're going to get to all the college hoops tonight. We're also going to get to some trade deadline, NBA trade deadline stuff, which I have plenty to talk about when it comes to that, Ryan. I'll be interested to see where you're at with it all, but
I think a lot of people do today.
Yeah, especially around here.
Yeah, it wasn't long. I had some meetings at work today, and when I got out of it, hopped on Twitter, and that's the first thing I saw. And I mean, people were it was a buzz, and that's the kind of stuff I like. I mean, it was fantastic, just going back and forth with people, getting people's opinions.
I think the trade deadlines lately have been fucking terrible. The last couple of years have been brutal.
Absolutely, this year especially.
But we'll get into that a little bit later. As far as last night running college basketball, I went to the game, so I took Temple. They're up 11.
They were.
They were up 9.5, go up 11, and then Central Florida goes on an 11-0 run, gets right back into the game.
Well, that kid for them,
B.J. Taylor.
B.J. Taylor.
No, he was great.
You texted me at one point. You're like, "Are you watching the game?" I was watching some other things. Tuned in with about 5 minutes left. Watched the end of it, and B.J. Taylor just.
Well, yeah.
Fantastic.
I mean, Matt Williams and B.J. Taylor just went off, and it seemed, from my perspective, where we were sitting, it seemed like Central Florida never missed. I'm watching the game with Don, and I think I said at one point, like, it seems like they never miss.
Yep.
Like, every shot they shoot goes in, and they Fran Duffy, you got to wonder, is his time done at Temple? I was sitting right behind me. Actually, was his wife. We were sitting in with all the family of him and his and the players and stuff. And she's a nice woman. I've talked to her before, but I think it's time to go for Fran. I mean, really, Ryan. I mean, but we'll see. It's a nice atmosphere. Always fun to go down there and watch a game. But they don't get it done. I thought Louisville was getting too many points. They didn't get it done. But I know Donnie and I, we both agreed on the show. We like Syracuse. They had a great win last night.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
They vault into, by the way, Syracuse looked like shit early in the year.
Yep.
Now, all of a sudden, here's the problem, though.
Should be going to the tournament.
Right. Here's the problem, though, and I say it again. The tournament is not in Syracuse, so they're going to have some problems. They're a bet against in the first round. I will say that right now. I don't like them on the road at all. So let's jump into today's action. Some interesting games, Ryan. I believe you have a play of the day. Do we know?
I'll give something out.
Where's that going to be?
Yeah,
what
that's
game?
going to be in. It's actually going to be the first game on the card. So
okay, Elon and Northeastern.
Yep.
Yeah, you either deal with that conference a lot or the Big Ten. I feel like a lot.
I do like the Big Ten. I like the Big Ten.
We'll see. Let's jump into it. First game I'm going to recommend, free play. I'm going to go with Georgia +5 against Alabama. I think this line's a little bit too inflated. A little bit of an overreaction here, I think. At what point has Alabama been a team that should be laying 5 points? I mean, again, very decent, I guess a decent middling SEC team, but the SEC teams this year haven't been very good. This isn't a good conference, and I don't know that just because Deontay Mayton's out, is Georgia that worse off. I mean, they had a valiant effort the other day against Kentucky. J.J. Frazier's going to have to pick up a lot of the workload, but I think he's okay with that. I mean, he dropped 36 in that game. We also have to remember a little bit of revenge. I think Georgia has this one circled on their calendars. Last game these two teams played, Georgia got crushed 80-60 at home against Alabama.
Which is wild. I mean, Alabama should not go into Georgia and score 80 points.
No.
That's just not happen.
And the thing is, I mean, I think it's just one of those throwaway games. They didn't play well. I mean, it is what it is. They scored 60 points. They need someone else to step up. I mean, other than Frazier. I mean, Juwan Parker could do it. I mean, there's guys on this team that can do it. I don't know that Alabama at this number is really worth a bet, honestly. I don't think if you don't like Georgia here, I'm not really quite sure why you'd lay 5 points here. At the end of the day, we also have to point out, Georgia, a very good road team against the spread. They're also a 9-2 as an underdog this year. I've mentioned before, I like George Mason as a dog. As a dog, I like Georgia as well. I don't really want to lay points with them, but when they're getting points, I want to grab them all day. And look, Ryan, I think we got to point out, Alabama, 64% from the free throw line. Georgia, 75%. That may be a difference in this game. That is how an underdog hangs around. If he can hit free throws, get some timely baskets, they're going to hang around to the end of the game. I think this one comes down to the final possession or some sort of similarities to that. I'm going to go with the Bulldogs here, +5.
Yeah, look, I made it clear that the SEC games just rub me the wrong way, especially these kind of middling SEC games. I just seem to never really have a grip on it. But the two numbers, like Jeff said, that point out that you really just kind of have to look at, and when you look at the line, you scratch your head. Are the ATS road numbers, like Jeff said, 8-2, and then of course as an underdog 9-2. I mean, you just cannot look at those numbers and kind of shy away from them. You can't. And coming off of the previous matchup, which was an ass whipping. I have a slight lean to Georgia, but not a huge feel in this game, Jeff. Georgia has the last they've covered 6 of 9 in this series, so they have that going for them as well. So Yeah, I slightly in the Georgia man, but nothing. You know, I don't like these middling SEC games.
I don't think Alabama, like I said, is good enough to be laying a number like this. I think long term, next year or two, they'll be a pretty good team. But
no, they definitely will.
I just think this game comes down to the wire. Honestly,
right.
I don't really know that these teams are this much different. So I'll go with Georgia +5 as my first free play. Second one, I'm going to go with this one could really bite me, but I'm going to go off and hope that this team can bounce back after a bad loss. I'm going to go with Utah +2.5 against Colorado. Utah's off a loss to Oregon State.
Saw that.
Which you always like to grab a team like this off of a loss like that. It's unlikely they don't come out here and play well. They've been efficient all year. I don't think the problem for Utah has not been offensively, and they've been putting it in the basket. 51% is good. That's very efficient. They're scoring almost 80 a game. They've covered 4 or 5 against Colorado. Colorado against the spread, Ryan, has not been good. Last 18 against the spread, they're 5-12-1. Just not very good. They don't cover numbers. It's a good bounce back spot for the Utes here against that team that does not cover, against a team that I don't think is very good, Colorado. I think they've kind of been – they're a middling franchise. They have been for a number of years, and I think they continue to be here. It's unlikely to me that Utah comes out flat here. I think they need to come in and have a nice performance here in this one, especially off of that pitiful loss. I think they win this game. Maybe you want to look and get some extra value and just bet the money line. I don't have a ton on it. I just like the spot. I think it's a good bounce-back opportunity here.
Yeah, and look, at 17-10 overall, Jeff, they really can't afford another slip-up here. You had the one in your last matchup, which is pretty disheartening from just a casual basketball fan looking in. And at 17-10, if you're going to go on the road to Colorado and lay another egg, that's really detrimental to them at this point in the season. So, yeah, I agree. I actually look for Utah to really come out and, not only win and cover, but I would kind of expect them to maybe make a statement here. Say, look, that team last game was not the team that we are. That's not who we want to be. Let's flip the switch here tonight, guys, and get the job done in Boulder. And, solid team on the road, ATS-wise anyway. And the one thing I like about Utah, too, you talk about their improved offense, too, Jeff. One thing that I particularly like is this team, for whatever reason, doesn't get fouled. Or this team doesn't commit fouls, but they get to the line as well, which is something I really like, and like you said, something that can really keep you in games. So, yeah, I like Utah a lot tonight, actually. This is a game that I do definitely lean with the Utes.
And again, I think with the factors of their record, the factors that, again, awful loss, you really got to like what you're seeing here in this spot for Utah. Listen, at 2.5, I think, this is definitely a spot where the money line is a lot more attractive to me than just taking the 2.5 points. I think they have to have this game.
Yep.
I don't know that Utah is I guess they're a shoo-in.
17-10?
I guess I don't understand why we're just automatically putting Utah in the field. Again, their out-of-conference schedule was poor. It was bad. I remember early on, Ryan, with Utah.
Nazarene.
They didn't play anyone.
Coppin State. Concordia.
Where are their wins there, really? I'm not sure they're a shoe, and I don't know why we're just quick to say that Utah is automatically in the tournament. Again, they beat I don't really see a ton of great wins on their schedule. It doesn't impress me that you're beating Stanford, Washington State, Oregon.
They don't have I really don't think they have a signature win, Jeff. You look at their losses. They're losing to Xavier. They're losing, and they throw in a loss to San Francisco. They lose to Arizona. They lose to Oregon. They're losing to the marquee teams. Lost to Oregon twice. Losses to Cal. Losses to Stanford. What exactly has Utah done? So, the fact that they're at least hanging around, and then tonight, parlay that with the fact that, look, this should be a desperate, hungry team. Really going to learn a lot about Utah. If they come out tonight and kind of steamroll Colorado, if they have that ability, that's eye-opening. If they struggle,
who do they have the rest of the way, Ron?
I'm seeing at Colorado, which is obviously tonight. Then they flip the script and don't play for about a week, which is against Cal at home, and then 2 days later they play at home again against Stanford.
Yeah, so again, not a lot of room for for error. I mean, they may have really kind of just. I mean, I guess Cal would be a pretty good win, but
that's why that last loss hurts them. I mean, that's hindering. I mean, and if you lose tonight,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Whoops, I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't. I'm looking at the bracketology now. I don't know that they're in the field. Honestly, I might be crazy, but yeah, they're not in the field, Ryan. I didn't think they were. I mean, especially with the way they've played. I mean, they just. Yeah. I don't know, and I don't know that they. Going forward, I don't think anything that they've done is.
That's the problem. There's nothing going forward that can give them that boost. I mean, because a win against Stanford and a win against Cal is not going to open anyone's eyes.
But in this spot, though, off the loss, they are the play here in this game. Just my opinion. Let's go to the next one here. And, yeah, guys, we'll get to your games. Jay, we'll get to it. 100%, promise. Last player, Ryan, I'm going to give out. This one is just kind of a play on going on a team that has played well lately. I don't know if anyone's noticed. Sacramento State, out of the Big Sky, have played very well lately. They've covered 10 of 14. They're good at home, 78 points a game, shooting almost 50%. That's unheard of in the Big Sky. Not a lot of teams shoot 50%. This is not a quality basketball conference. There's not a lot of really good teams here. And they're playing a team in northern Arizona who we've talked about over the years, not very good, the Lumberjacks. They struggle. They struggle to get stops, giving up 79.5 points a game. They struggle to score, only shooting about 68%. I like what I've seen out of Sacramento State. They have some guys that can get to the hoop, score the basketball. They already beat northern Arizona pretty handily earlier in the year, and they missed, I believe, 9 free throws in that game, so it could have been a whole lot worse than 14. The concern I have here and why I didn't make this a premium play, Sacramento State does have some issues at the line. That could really come into play here down at the end. This looks like a 10 to 15-point victory. I just don't think Northern Arizona is very good. I mean, they're 7-20. Sac State, I think their win-loss record isn't fair to what this team has done in conference. They're 10-4 in conference. I like what I've seen from them. I'm going to go with them here, laying 8.
Yeah, look, they have played well, Jeff. I mean, they've covered 5 of 6 this month in February. Then you got a Northern Arizona team, and that's the thing you have to kind of try to figure out is, look, you have an inferior team coming to town. Where's their head at? I mean, you have a team that has 7 wins all year. I mean, obviously they're look. I know it's not like collegiate sports, but I remember high school football our junior year. It was kind of like, it was very kind of stagnant. With about 2 games left, it's like, all right, we're ready to just get this shit done. I mean, really, you kind of just go through the motions. Right. You're like, let's just go out there, we practice, we'll play, and let's go on with the rest of our school year and the rest of our career there. So, and that's the thing I think with Northern Arizona. I mean, a 7-win team. I mean, people say play for pride, but I mean, really, you're a bad team. You are what you are. I can't expect them to just kind of come in here against a very hot Sacramento State team and kind of put their best foot forward. I don't see it as well. Definitely is kind of disheartening with Sacramento State from the line. But look, over the last 3 seasons, over the last 4 matchups, Sacramento State has fared well in this matchup too, covering 3 of 4. So I lean Sac State as well. I would have no interest getting involved in the Northern Arizona team that only has 2 wins on the season and is only 500 on the road ATS. So.
Yeah, Sac State should be able to continue to control this conference the way they have ATS. Northern Arizona, I don't think is going to put up a whole lot of. Listen, I've watched Northern Arizona. They're a hideous basketball. I mean, they really look like a junior high team. I mean, they're really poor. It's a wonder. This is the depth of Division I basketball. This is some of the lowest levels of Division I right here, Northern Arizona. It just. I'm sorry.
No, I hear you. I hear you. For sure.
You know,
the Lumberjacks, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they would probably – there's probably high school teams in this country that would beat them.
Probably.
Like, let me ask you a thing. Do you think, like we've seen, like, Westtown play or, like, a team
they could beat a college team,
Don't you think they would beat Northern Arizona?
They could.
I definitely think they would.
I don't know. Look, I'll take your word for it because I haven't seen Northern Arizona, but I know that they could definitely beat some college teams. Just because for the main – they have the talent, but the big thing, too, that you also have to wonder if you're comparing high school to college, do they have the size, which they do.
Right.
Which they can compete
and
inside.
If you don't know what we're talking about, Westtown's a team locally to us that they have all 5 of their players are Division I, high Division I, and they're unbelievable, one of the best teams in the country. Ryan, what do you think the percentage of the 351 teams in college basketball, how many do you think Westtown would beat?
Look,
do you think it would be
at the end of the day, they
100?
still are high school kids.
But it's got to be at least 100.
I don't think it would be as high as some people would think, but
I'm talking about some of the SWAC. I think it would be.
No, they could. No, for sure. That's bad basketball right there.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about MEAC, SWAC. Yeah, I think they could beat a high percentage.
Even some of the WAC, like Chicago State and teams like that. I mean,
only problem with that being is, in high school, you're just going off pure talent. You're not really running set plays. You're not really going through that kind of thing. So if we're talking about, let's just take them down to the park and play. Yeah, I think Westtown could.
There you go. I'll go with Sac State -8, Georgia +5, and Utah +2.5. Let's get into the rest of the card. Again, with the big card today.
It's a big card.
If you like a game right now, send it in. We're just going to pick and choose. Yeah, we're not going to go over every game here. Ryan, let's get to your play of the day. What do you like here for your POD?
Yeah, a lot of things going on here with the Northeastern Elon game. Line to open at 4.5. It's down to 2.5. Really kind of line really moving down, and you kind of wonder why Elon getting the most side and money, and the line's going down. That kind of makes you wonder as well. And I saw some people on Twitter and whatnot kind of talking about the game, just kind of getting their feel for it. Elon did go into Northeastern earlier in the year, grinded out a 51-49 win. I think Northeastern gets a little bit of revenge here. I mean, they only shot 32% in that game, 21% from three. The rebounding edge kind of did kind of hinder them a little bit, which they are on the opposite side of being Northeastern. But look, at the end of the day, Northeastern, they're a toss-up team, and that's obviously kind of worries me a little bit getting involved with them. But we have seen them play well, and we have seen them at the end of the day, knock off some pretty solid squads. I'm going to go with the fact that I think they get a little revenge here, go against that line movement, and take Northeastern here. So I'll go with Northeastern for my play of the day.
I think Elon has become a very trendy pick from
Agreed.
A lot of people.
That's a good point.
They're not a very good home team against the spread. I don't know how else to say that. On the road, I actually like them. It's kind of weird, but. This is a tough conference. It's very much, like you said, at times can be a toss-up. I think Elon is all of a sudden just kind of a trendy team. Northeastern can beat teams. I mean, they beat Michigan State. They beat Oakland. They beat teams that maybe they shouldn't have beaten.
They have the talent, yeah.
So, I remember a couple of years ago in the tournament, they took Notre Dame to one of the final possessions. They're well coached. They have guys that can, that can win games. I don't have much an opinion on the game, but I definitely think, Ryan, you're going against kind of the trendy pick. I think it's definitely worth a look for sure. Burns, William and Mary. Yeah, look, Burns. I mean, William and Mary's won every game, Ryan, at home this year. They're 12-0. That's fantastic, obviously. They're scoring 93 points a game at home, giving up like 70. Do I think Hofstra's going to come in and disarm them? No, I don't. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know how else to say it either.
But I don't want. But 5 is a dead number.
True.
That's my problem.
True.
There. I wish that line was 3.5.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry. I don't know.
I would kind of. Yeah, look.
I'm not getting in front of William.
Right. For me, William and Mary at home, you either bet on them or you just stay away from it. And Hofstra, look, this team's just not been good in conference. Hasn't been good on the road. Not sure I want to kind of back Hofstra here just because of the way that William & Mary's been rolling at home. So that's the way I'd lean. I was actually looking at this game for a while.
I don't mean to call anyone out. No, listen, I don't want to call anyone out. I just want to point out, I think with sports bettors, especially touts, a lot of touts just give plays out. They don't try to educate and help people. There has to be some sort of education with, and that's what we're trying to do on the show that we're doing a little bit, of if you bet a lot of plays, you are not going to win long term. I'm sorry. I don't know how. Jason, I've dealt with you for a while. You've commented on the show. You've been involved. Ryan, this guy literally, I feel like every game I talk about, he has a bet on it. Jason, I don't understand. I don't know your situation. Maybe you have a ton of money and you're betting just every game. But I'm just trying to say from a standpoint of long term, you maybe want to cut down on some of your volume a little bit. Just because the game's on doesn't mean you have to bet it. But like I root on Saturdays, I'll just tweet about random games. He'll be like, "Yeah, I had that," or "I didn't have that." A lot of guys nowadays, like you'll see, they're betting a ton of games.
I mean, it's
hard to win one game, let alone 20.
Agreed, and that's the kind of one thing about gambling too. You look at a card and you say, maybe some people say to themselves, "Oh, this is a big card. I need to have at least 7 plays tonight." It's like, look, why don't you just look at that one? At least this is the way I do it. When I look at a card, let me look at the card, pick the games that get my attention, jot them down,
right?
Then kind of like process of elimination,
right?
Then you eliminate one, and then it's like, okay, these are my 2-3 best ones. Let me go ahead and play those. Not, oh, well, I like all 7 of these, so let me bet them. That's just not the way kind of we do things. But I hear
look, you bet big volume. That's okay. I mean, that's your business, but I don't think it's a good way to do it. I don't do it personally, but
let me ask you this, Buzz. Do you? And if you don't want to answer, you don't have to. Do you bet the same amount per game? Like, say you bet 7 games a night. Do you bet the same amount every game, or do you pick and choose? That's kind of that's. I'd be interested in.
I guess also the main point here is when I say send in games, send in 1 or 2. I can't go over 4 or 5.
But that's what people expect. They want us to go over the whole card. There's 35 games tonight.
There's a lot of games tonight. Yeah,
seems like it.
Yeah, sure. But you find it evens things out. What about the time you go 0-9 or something now? Because it happens. I don't know. I guess it's, I don't tell anyone how to spend their money. I'm just trying.
Yeah, everyone goes a different way. That's for sure.
Nebraska, Michigan State. I don't have much on that one. At 6, I probably would have liked Nebraska, but at 4, I don't really like either side there.
Michigan State, I think, it has something to play for too. If I'm not mistaken, I think Lenardi has them as a 10 seed right now. I think I might have read that wrong today.
When will they go?
I was quickly looking at Twitter, and I could be wrong. But if that's the case, then look at home.
As bad as they played this year, they're still actively in the field. Yeah. Crazy. Michigan State. Yeah. Again, guys, I don't have at 4. I don't like that one. UNC Asheville. There's Scott Weaver. Yeah, I actually considered the other side in that game. That's an added game tonight. But I don't have much on that one. Where else? Someone asked about Loyola Marymount. I don't have much on Loyola Marymount. That conference is total trash, other than St. Mary's and Gonzaga. Really nothing there that I'm too interested in. Sorry about that one, man. At San Francisco, I mean, do you really want to back them either? Like Ryan said, ton of games on the card. That would probably not be one I'm interested in. I see a lot of UTEP love all of a sudden. And UTEP has played well, but just remember Tim Floyd's their coach. I mean, do you really want to back UTEP? I mean,
yeah, the Miners.
Let's just remember that.
Yeah.
A couple more here. A couple of the ones that I considered. George Washington. Yeah, I don't. At 5, again, I don't like betting games at 5. It's a dead number. It's not something. And again, George Washington, I think as an underdog I like, but I'm not really looking to lay points with them. But UMass is, they've had inconsistency all year.
And ATS, they're just, they're terrible.
Yep. Actually, guys, to be honest, considered Gonzaga tonight, but with the big number, clearly you got a San Diego team who's actually been pretty good against the spread.
I think Gonzaga loses tonight.
No, just kidding. Don't say that.
Just kidding.
The big balls play of the day.
They need to lose, though.
Is San Diego money line. Someone bet that.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, dude. If I was rich, like I would put something on that.
I think it'll be.
I mean, that's not gonna kill you in the long run.
I'll tell you what. When it comes to the tournament, I'll bet the money line of every team playing them. Because at some point, unless we think they're going to, I think they're good enough to win the whole thing, which I could definitely see.
They will not lose in their conference tournament. Come the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
It's going to be hard, man, to go wall to wall.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Yeah, BYU Portland. I mean, Portland's terrible. I mean, they're really bad with wintering out.
And where's that game at?
It's
in Portland.
Yeah, it's in Portland. Yeah. If it was in BYU, I would take it.
BYU
is another really trendy. My books don't have money lines that high. Well, I mean, Five Dimes has a money line for tonight's game.
Yeah,
I think Gonzaga's minus 12,500. I knew there was a guy, The Dream. He used to bet those.
I know.
Remember him?
I know.
He used to bet those.
He did.
But yeah, I don't know. BYU should roll, but they've made a weird go of it this year of making games look tougher than they really are. Sorry to ask again, what was your side with Utah? I like Utah in that game. I see the lines makers are catching up with Summit League totals. Ryan, I actually got one last night at 146, and it went over easily. We played that one, but now IUPUI and IPFW are laying big numbers, Ryan. 164.5.
Yeah.
Is it high enough, though?
I mean, that's
both those teams very up-tempo.
Yeah, and like you said, that's something we kind of looked at as the season's going on. And look, the season's almost over, and look, it's taken them this long to kind of catch on. But I don't know. Even 150. What is it? 156? You said
164.
Or 164.
You need them to get into the 80s.
So you definitely need to get them into the 80s. Yeah,
tough.
It is.
A dead number is a number that can't be achieved by scoring. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is like you're off a key number basically. A key number in basketball would be 2, 4, 6, 7, 10. Like key numbers are like 2 possession or 3 possession. 5 is just a dead number in any sport, really. Did I explain that good enough? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Opinion on Marshall Old Dominion? No, I don't have an opinion on it.
Wouldn't you agree though? And look, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think this is part of the way it goes. You can parlay it with life as well. But isn't the best way about betting though to just kind of live and learn? I mean, we can sit up here.
I can try
sit up here and educate.
Yeah, I can try to do it.
But at the end of the day,
yeah.
Jeff's learned what he's learned from doing.
Yeah.
Likewise here. I mean, you just kind of live and learn, and you learn those things.
Yeah, I've definitely. You got to live and learn. You got to lose. You got to go broke. I went broke a lot.
Yeah.
I remember when I was like,
happens.
I've told you this story before, and I'll tell it again right now. When I was like 20, and I was still stupid. I still am kind of stupid. But I remember I lived in one of my dad's apartments. My dad owns apartment buildings around here, and I was living in Philly, and I came back to this area, and I was living in an apartment, and I was at the point in my life where I didn't want to go to my parents for anything. You never want to go to your parents for anything.
True.
But I was working with my dad at the time, and it was slow, kind of for the winter, and I was not working a lot, so I was a really degenerate guy back then. Like I was betting everything, and I remember there was a time where I was betting in with bookmakers, and I was losing a lot of money. And I remember I didn't pay my gas bill. I didn't have any money. I took cold showers. I remember that, and I didn't want to go to my parents for it.
Right.
But you have to live and learn. Anyone that tells you they never went broke, they're fucking lying. They're trying to put on a story that they're just better than they really are. All the people that are successful, very little started with a whole lot of money. They built shit up, and
Yep.
Like Ryan said, you got to live and learn a little bit. But do you? Marshall Dominion, that's a toss up. That's really who's going to be able to control tempo. Is Marshall going to be able to slow it down or speed it up and run? And is Old Dominion going to be able to slow it down to a crawl and play their kind of game? Take your pick on who you think is going to do it. I actually think Marshall will be able to do it tonight. I like if you could get 6, that would be the number I'm looking to get. But I don't know. I think Marshall will control that game though. Any good totals plays? Not really. I don't really have any tonight. All my games are actually. I do have one total play tonight, but it's I sent it out already. How shitty is it? Patino getting that UNC thinking. Well, he's an overreactor.
I hate Patino.
I don't hate him. I like him, but
I do.
I don't know what. I get a feeling something was said a little bit worse than.
By the way, did you see he was at his son's that Minnesota
game?
Did you see that? I don't know if BTN showed him enough. So.
Yeah, well, it was cool that he was there. I think
he should be there. His son, he's sporting his son. He should be there.
Do you like Towson getting 9.5? Not really. Not against Wilmington. I don't want to bet against Wilmington.
Sorry. And it's at home.
Yeah, I'm good. And Wilmington's kind of trying to, they're one of the better mid-majors out there, Ryan.
No, I agree. Yeah, it is at home. So
yeah. So what? Why don't you like Rick Pitino?
I'm not a fan. Well, first, look, he said that scandal that came out that he says he wasn't involved with, which, okay, I'll kind of give you a pass on that. And, yeah, I mean, Best Gaylor makes a good point. I mean, last night, look, you have to understand, and I think that's something that I've kind of accepted a long time ago, and I've echoed that sentiment to Jeff, and Jeff is that way now, which I really am happy that he is that way. Is look, people are going to say shit to you, just fucking shrug it off. Patino, people are going to jaw you. Just walk into the locker room and leave it alone.
I think it was
you don't
a whole.
have to turn around. I don't care what he says. I don't care if he says your mother sucks cocks in hell. I don't care.
Yeah, I think it was
just keep walking. I know you just lost a big game on the road that you would have liked to have had, but I don't know.
I'm surprised he flew off the handle like that. He doesn't. I've never seen him.
Plus,
do
I'm
that.
a little bitter that he beat Michigan a few years ago in the finals.
Yeah, well, I think if he coached at Michigan, you'd have a different tone on him.
You know, I honestly, and look, I don't like.
Because really, be honest,
I don't
Ryan,
like
if Jim Harbaugh wasn't the coach of Michigan, you got to admit he's kind of a douchebag.
Dude,
really, he's kind of a.
I can't say that because I actually liked Harbaugh when he was at
But you
San
have
Francisco,
to admit some of the shit he does is a little lame. Like, do we really need to know that he drinks milk with his dinner? Come on.
I can see where he comes off a little corny.
Who cares?
Yeah, but look, I mean, well, he endorses it. I mean, he
but it's like we get it. Like, come on. It was halftime, so they hadn't. I wasn't.
Oh, so it was at halftime.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. So, By the way, Ryan, at the game last night, you texted me. I didn't know this because I looked at him and I thought maybe it was him, but I didn't notice. How crazy is it that Ted Valentine was reffing that game?
If I was you, I would have pestered him all night.
I tried to.
And have got kicked. I would have got kicked out.
Here's the problem. I tried to. First of all,
you were a little far up.
I was right behind the bench, and he was always on the other side.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, sitting where we were sitting, I mean, you had all the family. I didn't want to be kind of because they all sit there always.
They're older people.
Yeah, I didn't want to because Ryan, I heckle people at games I always do, but I didn't really get much of a chance. That's funny. I smashed Teddy Valentine and didn't even get a chance to smash him.
Yeah, that's funny. That is really ironic that he's the one that did that game. Just for how much we dislike him.
Ryan on Northeastern plus 2.5 is his play of the day. I like Georgia plus 5. Sac State minus 8. And Utah plus 2.5. Does East Coast bias prevent Gonzaga from getting over on number 1? Yeah, we've talked about that. Of course it does.
East Coast bias prevents a lot of things.
Yeah.
East Coast bias prevented Christian McCaffrey for winning the Heisman Trophy 2 years ago.
Right.
I mean, it's a real thing.
And the mainstream media biases a lot of things.
It's a real thing.
I mean,
really
they also look at ESPN how they shark you into believing these deals are actually going to happen, trade deadline wise. Yeah. They don't ever happen. No. It's a reason to keep you interested.
Keep the carrot dangling over your
right. And of course, it prevents. And it also prevents of these people that don't watch a lot of basketball year in and year out that literally say, well, they don't play anybody. Well, they've won every game, though, in front of them, which is hard to do. It's hard to not slip up. It's hard to not have days where you just don't give a fuck. You said it, Ryan. There was times in football where you didn't really give a fuck.
Yeah, no. But that was a different end of the spectrum where we were poor. We weren't running the table, you know what I mean? So. Right.
But either way, of course it does. They're going to be a number 1 seed.
Do they need to lose?
No.
I mean, there's a reason.
I don't. I don't think they do.
There's a reason no team has gone undefeated and won a national championship in '76. It's tough,
right? Because the reason why I don't think them losing. I don't think that they haven't, as a program, ever been in a position where they could take things for granted. Mark Few, and that's why I valued so much that show they put out last year on HBO. I thought it was a great tool for handicapping because you could handicap. Mark Few, I think, is the best coach at not allowing his team to come out flat. They don't come out flat very often. Even back last year where when they needed to win, they won. When they needed to play well, they played well.
So would you say there are a few like him? Yeah.
Correct.
I would.
Funny.
Yeah.
By the way.
He is a good coach, though. I definitely echo that sentiment.
Good coach. I think he's one of the best.
Nah, he is, yeah.
He's done there
for a long time.
Pretty unbelievable.
Yeah. And I really pat coaches on the back. That's just kind of one thing that's always been kind of I've always kind of gravitated towards is our coaches that stay at a program for a long period of time. I have a soft spot for that. I don't know.
And why leave at this point? They're a national power.
Exactly.
He's built a great life out there. I mean, he's got
a nice
kids,
area.
And, it's a cool place to live.
Yep.
And I don't think people quite understand the level of university they were before he came there. Nobody knew who they were.
Yeah. I just find it hard to believe. Look, I thought, what was it, 2 years ago? 3 years ago? 2 years ago, I think it was. 3 years ago. I don't fucking remember. These years just run together. When Kentucky was undefeated. And they lost to Wisconsin in the Final Four. I seriously thought they were too talented. That I thought they were going to win it all. But the one thing I think that maybe works in Gonzaga's favor is that year they had Wisconsin. I forget who else was in that Final Four. Wisconsin, Kentucky, Duke, and I forget who Duke beat the other Final Four team. But maybe Gallon remembers. But that year was a little bit more stacked than this year.
And Ryan, I think we also have to point out for all you people that say they don't play anyone. We actually have to remember, most teams don't want to play them. I guarantee he asked to play some of these teams, and they don't want to go play them.
The non-conference was good.
Yeah.
They definitely challenged themselves, which they have to do.
Yeah.
But, look, Mark Few's not stupid, and that athletic director is not stupid. They say, look, we're probably the best mid-major team. We're probably going to win most, if not all, of our conference games. Look, we need to challenge ourselves. We need to. Because look, if we don't, they challenge themselves, and they still might not get, they're going to get a 1 seed, but they might not be the overall number 1 seed. So.
If they lose before the tournament, I think it would be an astronomical upset. Like that they're so much better than everyone in the West Coast Conference. Even the fact that St. Mary's, people are actually talking about that they're they're not even close.
I don't think St. Mary's is
They're
close.
not even close to being that good.
Thank you, Michigan State. So, yeah, look, and that was a team that got really hot. So, look.
And what's crazy about the recruiting is they never get top 100 recruits, and they're not going to get any.
Yep.
They don't get recruits. All their players have been transfers lately. So guys like Sabonis that have played for years. Karnowski's been playing basketball for years. I don't remember the last big recruit that went to Gonzaga. Mm-hmm. They don't.
But Wilcher was a transfer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they get talented
and the
kids,
problem out there is
homegrown.
Washington takes the cake over there.
Yep. Which I don't understand.
Me either. They have never gotten
that just goes to show you how fishy recruiting can be.
Sure.
Really. Explain to me this. 2018 football recruiting is very young. We have almost a year till national signing next year. Notre Dame is cleaning up right now. The amount of 4-star guys that have committed to them in the past 3 weeks is astounding to me. I don't know how. They have more recruits already than they had wins last year.
Ryan, I think you have to look at it from
last year and the year before.
I think you have to look at it from this perspective, from a Notre Dame standpoint.
They're a good school.
They're a Catholic university.
They're a good school.
They're good.
What does that have to do with anything? All the people that are
because their values
for the most part,
good.
The guys, and I'm not trying to stereotype, but the guys that are committing to them, I don't think they're committing them because they're a Catholic school.
I'm just saying, from a perspective of they're a good university.
And Brian Kelly's constantly on the hot seat. If I'm a kid, I'm sorry, Notre Dame. And it's not my hatred toward Notre Dame that's saying this. As a kid, I just don't know how you can go to a team that hasn't been particularly good over the last.
They'd be first on one of my lists, probably.
And the head coach is in limbo. Really. So
they'd be close on my list, but. Let's go to let's talk about some other things, Ryan, here, and we'll kind of just discuss the trade deadline here because, listen, I remember a couple weeks ago there was talk in this town that this team was going to the playoffs. Remember that talk?
No, there was.
Well, remember that talk?
But that was before Embiid got hurt, and things were kind of.
First of all, with Embiid getting hurt, what is this team trying to do here, really, with this?
With what?
He's probable the last 2 days at practice. He's practiced fully, but he's not the next 4 games. What shit is that? What are they trying to hide here with this guy?
Personally, I'd sit him down the rest of the year, personally.
And he's pissed off. I don't know if you heard. He doesn't like the way they've handled this situation. Listen, this team is a total mess, and until they figure out what exactly it is they're trying to do, they're going to be a mess. You look at what they did in the last 24 hours. The question I have is, all this money they've accumulated, don't want to pay Ilyasova, don't want to pay Noel. They have rookie contracts for Embiid and Simmons, and they're not paying Saric a whole hell of a lot. What the hell are they saving all this money for? At what point are you going to make the move? At what point are we going to stop pussyfooting around and tanking? When are we going to spend some of this money?
But spend it on what?
A high-end free agent.
How? Exactly.
What do you mean how?
No one's going to want to come here. No one wants to.
And that's the point. It's a regurging thing every year after year.
And
we charted nothing again.
That's why you have to try to build it up through the draft, Jeff, because you can't.
I'm sick of hearing about the draft. There's 10 players. Listen, back in 2010, this team drafted Evan Turner.
I know. That's gone. It's over. It's done with. But you can't win. You can't. No one's going to sign here. You're not going to get a LeBron. You're not going to get a Durant. You're not going to get a.
What do you mean it's not going to sign here? They won't
sign here.
This team was on ESPN several weeks ago. People were talking about how it'd be such a great destination. You're ruining your.
But no one's going to sign here, and that's why you have to build through the draft to try to get relevant, to try to get to a 7th, 6th seed. That way, you could say, "Look,
that's
guys,
my point
we need
here.
One more player to get over the top."
At what point are we going to start winning games? They were winning games.
I hear you.
They were at a point
and
where
their best player's been out for a month. That has a lot to do with it.
No, I'm sick of draft picks. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of accumulating draft picks and them not making the right fucking move.
If there is a year to have draft
and by the way,
it is this year. This year's draft is pretty.
I know. Every year.
No, it's not.
I know. In 2010, the draft was fucking deep, and he took Evan Turner. Could have took DeMarcus Cousins. Could have took Paul George.
And they screwed up.
Of course they screwed up.
Well, that's the way it.
And then today,
look, that's the way it goes.
And then today, you slap Nerlens Noel in the face after all the shit he's dealt with over the last 2 years. Finally win some games, and then you cart his ass off to Dallas, not get nothing back in return for it. And now what? Back to fucking normal again. And I don't want to hear about this Nerlens. I don't want to pay Nerlens Noel. No offense, it's the fucking NBA. We got to pay people now. And with Joel Embiid, with as much as he gets injured, backup center should be one of the first things they buy. I don't have a problem paying Nerlens Noel because I really believe long term he's going to go somewhere and be really good. He's going to be a Ben Wallace type of player. I'm going to tell you right now, and they're going to be fucking pissed off that they didn't hold on to him. They got nothing back for it. I'm sick of hearing about they don't want to pay him. What is all this money you're accumulating for?
Look, they may have at some point they're going to have to pay Embiid. That's clear. If he stays healthy, I mean, really, and that's a big if, and it's unfortunate. But that's the situation they're in, and we can laugh about it all we want. When he's healthy, he's fantastic, and we loved the beginning of the season when he came back, and the ride up until he got hurt was fun. It was. It made Sixers basketball fun again. But look, you're going to have to pay him, and Jeff, like I was saying. Look, I don't like the deal either particularly, but it's unfortunate that you remember when they took Embiid, they dished Drew Holiday away. They brought Embiid in here, and they just didn't get anything out of him from that whole draft night a few years ago to bringing Embiid in here, or not Embiid, excuse me, Noel. Nothing really accumulated from it. This year, though, stockpiling these draft picks, it is a relatively deep draft this year. Most years, if you miss out on the top 6, 7, 8 guys. You're screwed.
They're not going to have a pick that high.
It's a deeper draft. What do you mean?
What do you mean what I mean? None of the picks they're getting are going to be top.
They're going to have their pick. They're going to have the Kings pick. They could have the Lakers pick.
No, they might have the Kings pick. The Kings are right there in the AC. They might not be.
And the Kings are going to be terrible the rest of the way. They don't have Rudy Gay and they don't have DeMarcus Cousins.
There's only 30 games.
They're going to be terrible. Right, and they might win 5.
Listen.
They're bad, dude.
Okay,
but I'm going to say they will have the Kings pick, and they may have the Lakers
Bogut's
pick.
not playing with this team. He's never going to see a game here.
No,
but Bogut's here to grab some pine for a while and then get shipped out.
He might be gone before the night's end. To be honest with you.
Right. Your point there, Ryan, is like the pick they got today. They basically got second round picks for Nerlens Noel.
Yeah, how does that work? Because everyone's saying first round pick, and then people are saying it's 2
because
seconds.
It's a top 18 protected.
Right.
They're not going to be in the top.
So
18.
if they're not in the top 18, it goes to two twos.
Right.
Okay.
So
I'll go and break Nowitzki's kneecaps. That way we can.
It's annoying. It's irritating. I just wonder when will this end.
The reason it's irritating is because they've been bad for so long.
When will they be good?
That's why it's irritating.
At what point are we going to say, you know what, we have what we need here? And Ryan, I don't know if, I'm sure you know this. I don't know if they know this. Eventually, you are going to have to sign people. You can't just get rid of people.
And I think that they have money now to sign people.
But Ersan Ilyasova is not someone you should be getting rid of.
He's a journeyman. He's always been.
He's not a journeyman. He's your second leading scorer, Ryan.
No, but he's a journeyman. There's
a
reason he's on a
veteran.
different team every year.
You need a veteran presence. You need veterans.
I hear you.
Do you know who the most tenured Sixer is, Ryan?
Yeah, it's Embiid.
No, it's Okafor. He's the longest tenured Sixer.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Joel
it is.
Embiid. Embiid's been here before Okafor. Okafor came here last year.
No, he came here the year before.
No, he came here last year.
Jaleel Okafor is the longest tenured Sixer. Go ahead and look it up, Ryan. I'm not wrong.
It's Joel Embiid. So Joel Embiid hasn't been here longer than Okafor.
No, he came here the year before him.
No.
2014.
What? Joel Okafor was a rookie Okafor was a rookie last year.
I thought Embiid was a rookie last year.
No.
I might have to look that up.
It's Embiid. He's the.
You guys have to trust the process. Shut up, dude. I'm sick of hearing about the fucking process. The fucking process has been 4 goddamn years. I'm sick of hearing the fucking process.
Well,
the fucking process is a fucking joke. This team is no closer to winning than they were fucking last year.
I disagree with that.
I do.
They are. What do you mean? Look,
they don't have any guards.
You'll have Ben Simmons. You have Joel Embiid.
I know.
You have Sarge. Those are the 3 players.
Here's the problem, though, Ryan.
For the few,
you have a guy that has not been playing basketball for very long. That's injured constantly.
Those are 3 people that you can build around, and you have to build around. Because look, I'm interested to see where their draft is, where their draft goes this year. So that's what I want to see. Let's see who they bring in here. If their draft is a swing and a miss failure, yeah, look, all reason to get pissed off. But let's see where things go. I'm not particularly happy with the Noel deal. I told you that, but
what can you be happy about?
What
did they do right here?
I think Donnie makes a good point. That's what I said. They
more picks again.
2 top 5 picks is fantastic.
How's that worked out for you?
That's fantastic.
It's fucking not worked out for you.
Well, I'd rather have 2 top 5 picks than not.
Here's the problem, though. They don't have anyone that knows how to pick.
Well,
they have fucking ruined their drafts.
Look,
they drafted Jaleel Okafor. They want to card his ass out.
Well,
they drafted.
They kind of got undercut there with Okafor. They wanted Russell. He got taken. Look, that's the way the ping pong mugs fell. If they were 2, they take Russell. They were 3 because they missed out on that with the lottery, and they took Okafor. Look, I mean, it's unfortunate. The organization perhaps is a little snake bitten, but I personally think they're going in the right direction. Obviously, Jeff's a little heated. He's pissed off.
Snake bitten,
so
they're snake bitten. I mean, every pick they take, they trade away.
They've been irrelevant for so long. Yeah, they're snake bitten.
No, they're just stupid. That's better. That's a better choice of words.
I wouldn't say they're stupid, but
they're stupid.
Look, Jeff,
listen,
you have to build through the draft. You have to.
They're not building though.
They're going to have 2 top 5
they
picks.
They get rid of everyone.
But they're going to have 2 top 5 picks.
Let me explain this.
They're getting rid of people that really have no business being here. I don't think Noel. Okay. Look, Noel.
He was a top 5 pick. What are you talking about?
What has he done? He hasn't really done much. Has he been top 5 pick worthy?
Okay, let me just hear me out.
But answer that question. Has he been top 5 pick worthy?
No, because they don't try it. They don't let it happen. He played 8 minutes with Joel Embiid. Put him as the 4.
I'd much rather be in the situation where they can get.
They're not getting a top 5 pick from this.
Why? Not from this, but I'm talking about prior.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't get anything for this
trade. It was fantastic. That's fantastic. I mean, the Kings are going to be terrible, man, the rest of the way. I don't know how you don't see that.
They're not going to be one of the top 5 worst teams. I don't know what you don't get about that. There's only 30 games left.
Doesn't matter. And they like I said, they may struggle to win 5 or 6. They're bad without Cousins and without Gay. They got rid of Barnes, who's a good 3-point shooter. I mean, they are depleted.
And then we got to deal with this fucking Lonzo Ball fucking mess. Come on, people, wake up. Please don't comment on the Sixers if you don't root for them. Stop telling me to trust the process. I don't want to hear it anymore.
I would love for them to somehow get Fultz or get Monk or I would like that personally.
Michael Carter Williams, Drew Holiday, Nerlens Noel, Jaleel Okafor.
Michael Carter Williams was they did the right thing with Michael Carter Williams. He was the rookie of the year.
Think if they
got rid of him and he's been nothing.
Think if they would have kept Drew Holiday and drafted DeMarcus, they would be the Pelicans right now. Yeah. Think about that. Think about that and put Embiid where you put Anthony Davis and Ben. Think about that. How about that, Ryan?
Well, that's not the way it is.
Of course not. Of course not.
But
and then the abomination they actually pulled with Jaleel Okafor. You tell him to not come to games because you're going to trade him, and then he's still here. What a fucking slap in the face. What a pathetic organization they are. They've taken the cake. I'm sorry. They're 100 times worse than the Eagles. They're 100 times worse. No, I don't want Lonzo Ball here. I don't know. Stop saying Lonzo Ball. I don't want him here. I don't want to deal with the fucking theatrics that he brings with him.
I don't care what you say. Monk, Simmons, Embiid, Sarge would be.
Good luck with that.
That's.
It's not going to happen.
That's a good start.
Why? Because this team's too stupid. That's why. What do you mean?
I don't
They've had time and time again and opportunities to do
this
something.
draft, more so than any other in years past, is particularly loaded. It really is. This is a deeper draft class than years prior.
I don't think it is. I don't think there's a lot of.
Well, then we disagree.
I don't think there's a ton of talent that I'm really interested in with this team.
Because
I want a veteran guard. That's what I want.
Like
I want Paul George, that kind of player. That's what I want. I don't want some kid coming in that's 19 years old. Sorry.
Here. Why don't you get that? They don't want to come here.
What do you mean they don't want to come here?
They don't.
So DeMarcus Cousins wants to go to New Orleans?
They don't want to come here right now.
It's not about where you want to go. It's about we're going to pay you and you come here.
Well,
because fucking 2 weeks ago, everybody was talking about how great the Sixers were, how great it'd be to play with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid.
And the media was saying that. I don't know if any NBA players around the league are saying that when they're out at dinner with a group of 10 of them.
I don't care if
Lonzo.
Lonzo.
It'd be fun to go to Philly.
I don't care if Lonzo Ball comes here. I will never root for that family. I'm sorry. I don't want them here. I don't want nothing to do with them. I won't rock nothing they wear. I don't want nothing to do with that group.
So if he helped the Sixers win a championship,
no, it'd just be great. I would root for the team.
Okay.
I don't like Lonzo Ball. I'm sorry. Just like you don't like Cam Newton.
Well, you just don't like his father.
No, I don't like him either.
What is there not to like about
I don't
Lonzo,
like the
though?
group in general.
But I don't think Lonzo's very hateable. What does he do though?
Because it's pathetic.
He's very quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, he just goes out and plays. You just don't like his dad.
No, I don't like them.
But why don't you like Lonzo?
Because I don't think he's that good, honestly.
Yeah, but
I don't think he's very good.
That against him
I think he's going to be a complete failure.
You shouldn't hold that against him personally. I can get why you hate.
He co-signs his dad. He co-signs everything his dad says.
What's he supposed to do?
He is going to get slapped into oblivion when he comes in the league. Slapped into oblivion. And if he does do well good for him. You know?
Look, they need.
No, I didn't say one, Sir Jeremy.
They need young players to come in, and that's what they need. That's the direction their team is in. They're not in the luxury to try to bank on free agents. It's the you have to accept it, man, because that's the truth.
Okay.
I mean, I hate to tell you.
It's not the truth.
It is. They are not in position to try to build through free agency.
Let me ask you a question.
It's not.
So how was New Orleans built to?
Because New Orleans has a superstar in Anthony Davis, has a pretty reliable point guard, which the Sixers do not currently, and Drew Holiday.
Which they had, by the way.
Here's the thing.
They had him, by the way.
With how high you are on New Orleans, what are they, an 8th or a 9th seed right now?
I'm not high on New Orleans. I didn't say I was high on New Orleans.
You said the Sixers could be New Orleans. And if that was the case,
right,
they'd be
I
a
said
9 seed.
They could have the players that New Orleans has.
And they'd be a 9 seed. That's what New Orleans is right now. They're the 9th seed in the Western Conference. Cousins will obviously improve them, but do you think that the Pelicans go win an NBA championship this year?
I didn't say.
Absolutely
I said
not.
On the show the other day, which you weren't here for, I clearly stated I didn't understand why they were getting so much love. All I'm saying is they're not a commodity. No one wants to go there. That's the point.
Well, here's the thing, though. They may be a little bit more.
And by the way,
now
they just built through free agency.
Wait, who?
New Orleans.
How? DeMarcus Cousins, that's a trade.
Right.
It's not free agency. And here's the thing. He's going to be a free
agent.
agent.
What are you talking about? It's free agent.
He's going to be
they grabbed him and brought him to their team. He's not a young player. What are you talking about?
Traded for him.
You just said they need to build to the draft.
The Sixers.
Please stop talking about this. You don't know
was a trade.
Right.
It's not free agency.
During the deadline.
But that's not free agency.
Is he not a free agent after the year, Ryan?
After the year, yes. In which they will have to re-sign him.
Correct. What you're saying is...
And if they don't, they're right back at square one.
What you're saying is... what I'm trying to say here is, you just said they're going to have to build to the draft.
The Sixers.
Right, because they made their bed now that they're sleeping. They don't have any veterans. They don't have any veterans now.
Right.
Because they got rid of them all. That's what they did.
But what are the veterans doing? I mean, what are they doing, really? They're not going to win you anything.
If they had Drew Holiday on this team right now, with the group they have, they would make the playoffs this year.
And what does that get you? We've talked about this before.
At this point,
what does an 8 or 7 seed in the Eastern Conference get you? This is one big circle. We've talked about it before. You yourself said, I don't like the team
in 2009.
That's the 6th seed in the Eastern
It was like 2009.
Yeah, and you don't like.
It's been 4 years.
And we don't like.
At some point, you have to win.
A six seed getting a middle pick and getting nobody.
This is coming from someone who does not watch the NBA, doesn't really know anything about it. Right. At some point, you have to win. You have to win some games.
And I think
at some point.
Yeah, and they have to get young talent in here. They do. Because veterans.
How long are we going to do this for?
Superstars aren't going to want to come. It's
How
the truth,
long are we
man.
going to do this for?
Till they get the right guys. So that's what it is.
This team will never win anything ever. They are screwed.
Well,
what they did is screwed this team. They're never going to win anything. They have a nice player in Embiid.
I don't know if say they screwed their team. If they have 2 top 5 picks, on top of having Saric, Embiid, and Simmons, that's fantastic.
What happens when Joel Embiid goes down with an injury?
And what if he doesn't? Yeah, it's a coin flip.
He's played basketball. He doesn't know how to land, Ryan. He doesn't know how to run. He doesn't know how to do anything.
He hyperextended his knee.
He plays way too. He's jumping into the stand. He doesn't have any sort of stop button.
Look, and that's the coin flip you have with Embiid. That's the coin flip you have, whether he can stay healthy or not. But if you can bring 2 top 5 picks in here on top of those 3,
my overall issue is this team and the crap they're trying to spew to people. We're going to be in it. We're trusting it. We're going to be just fine. We're going to trade Okafor. Don't even come to the games because we're getting rid of you. Here we sit, still on the team.
But here's the thing. With what they have...
Pathetic.
I mean, look.
What do they have?
They
have a guy who's barely played.
They have 3 guys that I'm high on.
That's been the focal point of their offense that has not had to deal with any... Embiid's fine. That's the only guy I give you. Ben Simmons hasn't played a fucking minute for this team.
He hasn't played yet, right.
Sarge is a good player. I don't think he's a superstar.
I don't think anyone will say that.
Good player.
He's a player you want on your
roster. Kind of a role guy.
It's a player you want.
They have no shooters. They have guys that probably don't even belong in the league that have hit fool's gold once in a while.
And that's why this year's draft is important.
Okay.
Look, Jeff, I'll give you this. I will give you this. If they strike out in this year's draft, that's huge. That's huge. That sets this team back even
all I'm trying to make a point
farther.
Is how many drafts do they have to strike out before we say, you know what, just not.
But what other direction do you want them to
go?
They've
never won in a draft other than Embiid.
What other direction can they go in?
And luckily, you just got the ping pong balls last year.
But they can't go in any other direction. They have to try to build through the draft because superstars don't want to come here. I hate to break it to you. There's a reason they haven't signed.
I don't understand where you're. Why do you keep saying they don't? It doesn't matter what they want.
Free agents. I'm talking about free agents.
I hate to tell you, Ryan, if you pay someone a lot of money, they'll do what you want. You think Paul George really likes playing in Indiana?
We'll see. Yeah, they're better than they're a little bit more relevant. They've been more relevant.
The point
than
I'm trying to make is I don't know why you wouldn't want to play in Philadelphia. You're the focal point. That argument you're making doesn't make sense.
Who's the last superstar to sign with the Sixers?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Who's the latest superstar to sign with anyone other than the Cavs, Warriors, or Rockets? What do you mean?
Exactly.
I mean,
thus why you have.
If you have enough money, though, you can go pay them. What are we waiting on here,
dude? I could give you $10 million and say, Jeff, come pay for me. But Golden State could come to you and say, hey, we'll only give you 7, but guess what? You'll be on a fantastic team for the next 10 years.
Okay, but
I mean, so some players
when you have enough money, though,
like that.
You dictate what goes on. When you have enough money.
I mean, at the end of the day, the players make the decision. And they're not making the decision to come here.
What are you talking about, Ash? I mean, what are you going to pay us if you're right? I mean, really? I mean, stop. Don't tell me what I'm going to... I don't believe what you're telling me. I don't buy into that stupid shit. Just like, I don't think the Phillies are very good, but all we hear about is how improved they are. Like, there's a lot of teams. Sorry. I just don't agree with it. I'm not going to put up with it. Anything else tonight, Ryan?
Yeah, we have 5 questions if you want to go through those.
Let's change this, Let's change the subject here.
Number 1. So last night was an interesting night in college basketball for sure.
Okay, one more thing. Burns is talking about Golden State had to build in the draft. Actually, they just got real lucky. They got lucky that Draymond Green, a second-round pick, was real good. That was more or less.
I mean, they
got lucky that Stephen Curry,
got Curry and Thompson,
who many thought Steph Curry would be a middling player.
Harrison Barnes, who helped their team.
Where's he at nowadays?
But he helped them win. He was a pretty big component.
So you actually thought Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, coming out of the draft, were going to be superstar players? They got really lucky.
No, I didn't say that. But
let's just be
honest.
Fortunate,
sure.
Sorry, let's get back to that.
Yeah, number 1. So last night, college basketball, a lot of interesting games, a lot of interesting finishes. To you, what was more impressive? Cuse's buzzer beater, Dylan Brooks' buzzer beater, Butler going into Villanova and knocking off Villanova, ending their 48-game home win streak, or Kansas clinching their 13th straight Big 12.
Not even close here. I don't even need to hear anything else. Butler doing what they did. It's time to start waking up and realizing Butler's a really good team. They've won 6 games against ranked opponents, and they just swept Villanova. How about that?
Yeah, they did.
And they went into the Pavilion and won, which is a very hard thing to do as a 10-point underdog. Definitely Butler. Yeah,
look, I slightly lean Butler, but look what Kansas has done to clinch 13 straight, man. That's impressive. That's the second longest streak, going all the way back to the Wooden days with UCLA. I mean, that just doesn't happen anymore. And what Kansas is doing there in Lawrence is fantastic to me. But yeah, to me it came down to either Butler or Kansas, but I slightly lean to Kansas. Number 2, this is a fun one. I was kind of thinking this by myself and just kind of laughing as I was running through these. This question. Who's a worse GM? Magic Johnson or Vlade Divac? I know we don't have a lot to go off on Magic Johnson.
I don't think Vlade Divac is... I don't think that trade is that bad. I said it before.
I think you have that soft spot for Vlade.
No, I don't.
Dude, he's been awful. That team's terrible, dude. That team's awful. I need to get rid of Cutler.
Yeah, I don't think that trade was that bad. We talked about it the other day. I don't really get why people are so disgusted with it. What exactly do you want them to do? They're not... Cousins isn't working there. They got back a pretty good haul for him. Okay. They got back first-round picks. Mm-hmm. They got back a guy in Buddy Hield who many think could be pretty good in this league.
And now Vlade Divac has to use that GM quote-unquote knowledge and draft well.
There you go.
Have to draft.
I don't think Vlade's... Listen, first of all, I don't think Magic Johnson should even be talked about as a GM at this point. He only started the job. Second of all, if we were talking about retanking and starting over... Sometimes the Kings just have to do that, and they have to do that.
So do you
the
think,
Kings aren't going to be very good?
Do you think Magic will be worse than Vlade?
Yeah, I don't understand why Magic... I don't get that. I think LeBatard made one of the best points he's ever made today. People are getting at him on Twitter, too. But I understand his point. What has Magic ever been good at other than being a point guard?
Right.
I mean, he's been a bad coach. He was a bad...
The Dodgers. He
was bad everything.
Didn't win anything there.
Right.
No. Look, I think it's...
The worst GM in basketball is Brian Colangelo. That's the worst GM.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Magic and
Magic
and Vlade. That's what we're talking about here. That's the question.
Was it Vlade's... Did Vlade... I think he's the fall guy for what happened. And he was stupid to say, we had better deals. He should have kept that to himself.
Right, and that's something you can't say.
That's a junior move by him. But
I think Magic will probably be worth... Look, he needs to have some sort of... They need to bring some sort of mediator or... some assistant, if you will, that has GM experience and put him with Magic and kind of show him the ropes, not just let Magic run the show.
You talk about a team that's been a bad draft group is the Kings. They've had some bad drafts. I mean, some of the guys they picked, Ben McLemore, I mean, your boy Nick Stauskas. I mean,
they traded him.
They picked him 8th.
Yep, and they traded him.
They have to draft better. And they're going to have an opportunity. They may have an opportunity this year to do it. Yep. They're going to be bad for a number of years.
Right.
That's just how it is.
Number 3. With baseball right around the corner, I think we might have talked about this before, but it's been a long time. This is something I always think of. I have this keen interest in stadiums and stadium architecture. I find it interesting. What's your favorite MLB stadium from around the whole major leagues? I'll give you mine quickly, so I'll let you think about it because I know it's kind of a tough question you need to think about. Mine is 2. I've always liked PNC Park at Pittsburgh, just because I like their stadiums, how they're on the river there, has the shot, the bridges that you walk across to get into the stadium. 2, I also like the Angel Stadium. Ever since I was a kid with the rocks in the background and the water that goes off when people hit home runs, there was nothing better than seeing Trout, what's his face, or the old timers for the Angels back in their heyday with Scioscia, hitting bombs off those rocks and just seeing the ball fly. I don't know. I just like that stadium. It's in a nice area, Anaheim, California.
I would go with AT&T Park, San Francisco.
It's a good one, too. Yeah.
Dimension. I actually think it's the way they created it. It's actually you almost have a tactical advantage.
Triples Alley on right center.
Yeah, and it's a big park. It's right on the lake there, whatever it is.
Cove.
Yeah.
McCovey Cove.
Whatever that river is or whatever it is. You can hit the ball out of there. Oakland Coliseum would be last. The Oco is pathetic. Terrible.
I hear you, old school, but that's just
Terrible.
That should be like no school. That's nasty.
Pathetic
There's
stadium.
some gross ones, yeah.
Some of the other,
but AT&T is a good.
Yeah, AT&T's a real good one. A couple others, I kind of like the Royals Stadium for some reason.
Okay,
that's kind of a nice one. Yankee Stadium.
I'll tell you a new one that I think is awful. I hated it from when it opened. The Marlins new stadium. I think it's terrible.
Well, many should agree with that.
I mean that. Whatever that is, that parade float out in center field. I'm not sure what that is. But yeah, I thought that was any question. I've always liked stadium architecture and things. I think stadiums are awesome.
Magic is worth $800 million, so I think he's good at running a business. His title is Director of Basketball Operations. I'm pretty sure Magic knows how basketball operates. Because he's had so many jobs in the league other than this one.
I just think what Jeff's talking about is he hasn't won anything. Because at the end,
he hasn't been good at anything.
Because at the end of the day, it's about winning.
If Magic was so sought after, why wasn't he a GM?
Yeah.
I mean, he's good at running like Coca-Cola empires and stuff, but I'm not sure he's good at running a team.
Number 4.
By the way, Jeannie Buss.
Yeah.
Don't you find her attractive? I think she's hot.
I haven't seen her in a while.
She's hot, I think.
I'll have to look her up.
I saw her the other day. I was like, she seems like a total bitch, but I think she's pretty hot.
Yeah, I haven't seen her.
Busch Stadium, that's a legendary one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Number 4. With the weather the way it's been, it's kind of made me thinking. So, spring is coming up soon. Do you prefer spring with the weather getting warmer, or do you prefer fall as the weather gets cooler?
Hate spring. I've said that before.
Okay.
I wish we could just skip spring and go right to summer. I like summer, definitely.
But let me put it this way. Okay, do you like it? Let me just say, I'll take the seasons out of it. Do you like when the weather gets warmer, or do you like it when the weather gets cooler?
I like the happy medium, but I would probably go with...
Come on, give me an answer.
I'll go cold, because it means
like fall.
Yeah, because it means like some of my favorite sports coming up.
Yeah.
Summer, for what it's worth, it is very hot. There's not a lot going on. I'll be very rude at this point, but it gets sickening and tiring going to the beach so many times. Mm-hmm. That gets old. Okay. I don't like pollen either. That's another thing I don't like. I wish you could kind of skip that stuff, but I don't really like the time of the year. I'm not a big fan of warm weather, really.
I'm a big fall guy as well.
Yeah.
So the fall for me, that's my favorite season.
Plus, I hate daylight savings time.
When it gets
late.
When it stays light later?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's cool in like the middle of the summer.
And it's nice when you're like a kid. You stay out later and all that kind of stuff. Number 5, last one. Look, we like food on the show. We talk about it from time to time, quite frequently, actually. This is
I had a great meal last night, by the way.
Okay, we'll talk about
it.
it.
Very random, but
number 5. What was one of your favorite dinners as a kid?
Okay.
So when you lived with mom and dad.
Yeah.
It's like late elementary, middle school.
Because there's always those staple meals.
I feel like every household has a signature, has those staple dishes, and every kid falls in love with one. So, did you have one in particular?
Yeah, I'll give 2, actually. I had 2 of them.
Right.
My mom's meatloaf, fantastic. She made this like ketchup-y drizzle sauce to put on it. A little bit of mac and cheese. Maybe a nice little veggie at the end, just to kind of clean up yourself. That was always a favorite of mine. She also made veal, the little cutlets. Mm-hmm. And I know you don't understand this, but around here where we live, there's a tomatoey paste kind of thing. It's called stewed tomatoes. You've had them.
Stewed tomatoes.
Yeah, they're sweet. You put them on top of mac and cheese. I don't really like
tomatoes,
and you put that on top of the veal. It's fucking great, man. My mom used to make that for me every time my birthday come around. I used to love that.
Yeah,
but a lot of the ziti,
it's popular around
she's
here.
Really good with ziti. My mom. The sucky thing about my family now is, and where we disagree a lot of the time, since we all moved out, my mom and dad are very health conscious now.
True.
Like, my parents don't eat. Like, when we go to eat dinner there, it's fucking boring, man.
Right.
Like, they eat like...
Yeah, it sucks.
Baked, like a grilled chicken, and
it sucks.
And I get they're trying to. My dad's very health conscious. It's a wonder how I am the way I am. But like, we don't eat when we eat pizza, we make pizza. Like, we don't eat that way anymore there, so it sucks.
Yeah.
By the way, my brother's moving into this development.
Is he?
I don't know if I told
when?
you. I heard him across the street.
Or when?
I don't know. Soon.
No kidding.
I forgot to tell you that.
Just him?
No, him and his fiance. Yeah. My brother's getting married, if anyone doesn't know that.
That's pretty wild.
He's been with the same girl for years.
Ever.
Yeah.
Seems
and
like.
she works in the city. And
okay. Well, that makes sense then.
Plus, I think my dad's ready for him to... Because he lives in a... you know this. My brother lives in a guest house, basically. My brother's owns a business.
Renovated it.
Yeah, and his shop is on the lower level, and he lives up top. So, yeah, I guess he needs a new spot. What about you? Can I guess what yours is? Because I already know.
You ain't gonna guess what mine is.
Yeah, I will.
No, you won't.
Chicken parm.
Nah. That's definitely one.
You love that.
That's definitely on the list. But I'm gonna kind of go off the grid to one that my mom. And it's because it was one of those meals that she didn't make. It was sparingly. She made it sparingly, just because it was kind of time consuming to make. And as a mom,
Did you know what we're going to eat for dinner? Right.
Hold on a second.
We're going to a diner.
Hold on.
I know it.
Hold on a second. Chicken and dumplings.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that's a great meal,
bro.
Man.
She made that
only in cold weather.
Agreed. I went over there like a month ago for Sunday dinner, and like when I go over, and it's just something I do. Like I don't text her or talk to her that day and ask what we're having. I just like to be surprised. And I walked in, and it's one of them things. You walk in, and I smelled it right away, and my jaw dropped. It was fantastic. I was like, chicken and dumplings, yes. So she makes it very sparingly, but when she does, it's a home run. And
that's one
awesome.
thing about my childhood that I miss. When I was younger, we would go to church. You know where I go to church. Mm-hmm. And my grandparents lived on the block that our church was. Yeah. So we would get rid of church, go to their house, and my grandma would always cook something. They don't live there anymore. Yeah. So, and you're younger, you do stuff that you don't normally do now. But, yeah, chicken and dumplings is a good one. That's a great one.
I love it.
I just don't like the chicken and dumplings when the dumplings are really doughy.
They got to be cooked well. You got to be cooked.
Yeah, definitely got to be cooked.
They can't be undercooked. Yeah.
Are you a pot pie guy? That's a staple around here, too.
Yeah, no, I like it.
You know what makes pot pie really good? Pickle juice. Throw it in there. Like, as it's hot.
Okay.
It's really good. A couple people. This is want to be the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. A grilled cheese and liver mush. Yeah, I'd rather eat my own foot.
And made a mad grilled cheese and liver mush.
Yeah, I'd rather eat jail food.
The first part of the sentence was good and promising.
Oh, yeah, I love French toast.
French toast is great,
yeah.
But then that just doesn't sound good. But
yeah, I do like French toast.
To each his own, my man. If you like it, more power to you.
Yeah, there's a lot of great food, man, though.
I love food. I've often said this, that Guy Fieri has the best job, and you can't tell me otherwise.
Action Bronson.
Guy Fieri has him as well. They have the best job in the world. You come into my room and ask me something. There'll be times at night I'm watching Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. I mean, he has the best job. He gets to travel. Yeah. He gets to eat fantastic food for free.
Yeah.
And I mean, what better combo is that?
Nah, I hear you.
I mean, that's awesome.
I was watching
that's
that.
Awesome.
And
Bronson as well.
Super Bowl Sunday. My parents weren't home. I went down there to watch the game, and they came home, and I was watching Bronson, and my mom, she couldn't believe that he was famous. Like, she couldn't understand.
Yep.
Like,
well, he's originally famous from his music, but then he incorporated the cooking.
Last thing tonight. So last night, talking about food, when I was at the game, I eat something around 3 because I left around 3, and then I hadn't eaten anything, and I got to the game, and it was halftime, and I was thinking,
I got to eat at the game. You didn't eat it before.
No, I ate at the game because I was like, I thought I'd probably eat something late night, so I was like, I got to eat something now because I'm hungry.
Leocora Center food,
fantastic.
Was it?
They have a sausage and pepper sandwich.
That's a staple at all the stadiums.
Down there. But no. I like the sausage that's cooked in with the peppers and onions because the sausage tastes like peppers and onions. Dude, it was just really good.
They're good down there.
Really good.
Yep.
$6.50 for one, but
yeah.
And I had 2.
Did you have fries with
them? They were like little hot dogs, basically.
Did they come with fries?
I didn't have anything with them.
No kidding. Usually, I know, like when you go to Phillies games, the sausage and pepper sandwich usually comes with like fries.
Because like the sausages down there are like smaller and they're like a hot dog kind of thing. Gotcha. So,
and it's a college. You have to think about that too. So
yeah. But I do like that stadium. They have a good little thing there. A lot of good parking. It's real easy to get into, and it's college.
Yep.
But all right, everyone have a great night. Hopefully, all of you enjoyed the show. We'll be back Monday with another edition of the show. Friday tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern. Catch Donnie Rightside and I for the right side of campus. We'll be back.
Who came up with that name?
They did, actually.
Oh, they did?
SBR did, yeah. It was kind of something that they came up with, and we kind of ran with it. It was a cool little name, so we thought, well, incorporates everyone in. So, we'll be talking about all sorts of things going on for the weekend, and some betting strategy and things like that. I must say, you really got into baseball last year. Will your SBR show with Donnie include baseball? Yep, we're going to include everything. It's going to kind of go right into that season, and it'll be fun with some of the day games. The cost of that at the game, $6.50 a piece, so it was like $13. I don't care, whatever. Everyone have a great night. We'll be back Monday. Like I said, feel free, tune in tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern. If you don't catch it live, you can always. I would like to see some of you guys there that don't usually come on the show here. Many of you do, but Ash and Best Gambler, it'd be nice to see you guys over there. So if you get a chance, listen in. We have a chat box. You can talk live like we are here. So we'll be back tomorrow, 12:30. Catch us there. Bye-bye.